So Sergey Spivak beats Greg Hardy. That's now loss number 3 in a row for Greg Hardy, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is a guy who, listen, I'm not the biggest fan. We know his background. We know his background of domestic violence. We know that, he used to be an NFL player. He got into some trouble. And things didn't go his way. And now he's in the UFC, and a lot of people don't like him, obviously given the fact that his backstory and some of the mistakes he's done. And, he's been on record saying that he's learned from these mistakes. You talk to some of the people that know him well, like some of his coaches, like Dean Thomas, will say he's a new guy. He's really learned from it. He's regret his past. My issue is not that. Listen, my issue really isn't that with Greg Hardy, right? It's not, do I condone it? Absolutely not. Like, I'm already not a huge fan of the guy just because of that, if I'm being quite honest with you. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. I've seen a lot of stuff, certainly on Twitter from this past weekend when Hardy lost, a lot of people bashing him. A lot of people feel very strongly about this guy. And I think rightfully so. My issue that is a stronger sort of frustration with Greg Hardy, the greatest frustration I have with Greg Hardy is not that. Is not, this guy, the mere fact that this guy has made those mistakes in the past. My issue is the chances he's getting, the spots he's getting, and they're not deserved. Like, why is Dana White doing this? Is he giving him like the CM Punk treatment where, the skill level's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not a great comparison because Greg Hardy is not CM Punk. But I'm saying CM Punk was a big name. A lot of people knew CM Punk from the wrestling world. A lot of people knew Greg Hardy from the NFL world, right? From the football world. So did Dana White take advantage of that name to put him on a bigger platform? Because we saw CM Punk on a main card that he had no business being on. We've seen Greg Hardy in many spots, whether it's fight nights or pay-per-views, on many high spots that a lot of people would say he doesn't deserve, and I would agree with those people. That's my bigger issue with him, is how is he getting these fights with Alexander Volkov? How is he getting I believe he has a main event or two fight, if I'm not mistaken. Has he not fought a main event before? On like a fight night before? The guy's gotten certain spots where it doesn't make any sense, where fighters that are far better than him, far more skilled than him, have been in the game far longer than him, have put in far more work than him in the world of mixed martial arts. He's getting fights where guys like that are not getting. So that doesn't make sense to me. That's what's unfair to me. It's not, I do already have a problem because of the background. If you want to say, he's a new guy, he's changed, whatever, fine. I have my own feelings about it. Someone who, would really put their hands on a woman, to me, it's something that I just don't condone. But again, that's not my main issue. My main issue here is the fact that this guy's getting all these spots and he doesn't fucking deserve it. It makes no sense. Why is he on the main card of a pay-per-view when you have the prelims are pretty stacked here? And there was at least 3 fights in the prelims that I would have put over the Greg Hardy fight. Easily Jalen Turner versus Jamie Mullarkey. That fight should have been over the Greg Hardy fight. That should have been on the main card easily. Marina Rodriguez versus Jan. Was that not a great fight? That fight easily could have been on the main card over the Greg Hardy fight. Made no sense. And even Marina Moroz versus Agapova. You could even have made the case that fight should have been on there. Two women that are more skilled at their craft, in their division, in their gender of the sport than Greg Hardy is at his. So why the hell is Greg Hardy on the main card? It doesn't make any sense. Other than going back to the CM Punk reference, it's because of star value. Is it because of that? Because it makes no other sense as to why these matchmakers would be putting Greg Hardy on all these main cards. This guy's had good spots before. This guy's been on main cards, many main cards before. Like, has he ever even, how many times has Greg Hardy actually fought on a prelim? A couple times? Most times, from what I can remember, he's on main cards of fight nights, pay-per-views. He's on big spots. He's in big spots. So I don't know. I just don't get it. The guy has a background, and if that's what you want to primarily shit on him for, go at it. Because I don't condone people who beat women. It just upsets me. But my bigger issue for the last time is how the fuck is he getting all these spots? Even if he never did what he did, strip away all the past issues, right? Strip them all away. He has a clean record. This is who he is in mixed martial arts. He's the same guy, but just strip away all the outside shit, right? He still doesn't deserve anything he's gotten. Nothing. What is he now, like 7-6, 7-5? He should get cut from the UFC. He is not a UFC caliber fighter. He's a very one-dimensional fighter. He's shown it time and time again. And then you get a guy in Sergey Spivak who's a well-rounded who's just a mixed martial artist. Don't even say well-rounded. He's just a mixed martial artist. So he can do it all. You know, he can get you in the grappling. He can get you in the stand-up, and that's what he did. He finished Hardy, knocked him out in the first round. Did he knock him out cold? It was like a TKO, but still finished him with punches. And that's the problem with Hardy. He's a very one-dimensional fighter. So he would have had trouble down the line regardless, you know? Very one-dimensional fighter. Especially now in this new age where people are starting to get into mixed martial arts overall now. You have the opportunity to get into a sport and not be one-dimensional now because you come into the sport fresh like Greg Hardy where you don't necessarily have a background of boxing, wrestling. It's a good opportunity to come in and be a well-rounded mixed martial artist. Just learn everything at a steady pace altogether. But, you know, he chose to try to be a striker and a knockout artist because he's a powerful, athletic, strong guy. And it worked for him, you know, well in the beginning when you have these, you know, these contender series fights where you're facing guys that aren't at the highest level. But when you get to that next level, even if they're unranked guys, it's still the UFC. You're gonna have trouble. So, again, you know, I can't say I'm surprised, and I would cut him, honestly. I don't understand why this guy's still in the UFC. There's something about his demeanor that's always bothered me too. He's always had kind of like that smart ass attitude, whether it be in press conferences, interviews, whatever it is. I remember like even when the whole inhaler shit happened in the post fight interview, he was so nonchalant about it, like he didn't make a mistake, like he knows he didn't mess up. Like I don't know, just a lot of things about this guy just rubbed me the wrong way. Then you had that whole, I don't even want to get into it. Just not a fan of the guy, and I'd say 55 to 60% of it is just because he's had so many spots and he's undeserving of.